a new face in the clubhouse in Michael Darrell-Hicks. What's so cool about getting to bring him up here? He was so smiley today.
Well, it's good to have him, man. I mean, first time I met him, physical guy. He had 2 really good outings in Indy, and excited to have him up. And we needed some innings out of the bullpen, and he can fill that role. And just looking forward to him being here.
What do you see in a potential like a guy like that who's a little fresh into the big leagues and maybe able to mold him a little bit as well and guide him?
Yeah, he's he had those 2 good outings. He's throwing the ball well, and looking forward to seeing what tonight brings. Hopefully he goes deep into the game, and we can feel it out from there. But a guy that can come up and give us multiple if we need it out of the pen.
Is managing someone in his situation where he wasn't around in spring training, you didn't see this guy develop, is that going to be a challenge for you? A new face, first time you had to deal with something like this?
Yeah, it always can be. But being around baseball, and things happen like that a lot with bouncing around from team to team, and just trying to get to know the guys as fast as you can, and really rely on others throughout the system from AAA and our coordinators to help with that transition as well.
Obviously, with that move, Hunter Stratton did get sent down. What are some of the things that you're hoping to get out of him in AAA or improve upon?
Yeah, with Strat, he's pitched so well for us in the past, and that's what I told him last night is, just continue to work on those things. It was a byproduct of we needed some innings out of the pen, and just needed to get a fresh arm up and to go down, continue to be himself, and continue to work on the things that he has, and just really glad that he's healthy. After what he went through last year with the injury, the arm looks good, and just to continue to be himself, and he'll be back up here at some point.
For this offense specifically, that was back-to-back games with really impressive bats. What did you like most about the burst that you saw, and hopefully you can continue that over to today?
Yeah, last game against Texas, and then last night against these guys, just continuing to put at-bats together throughout the lineup. Like we talked about, staying within. Gonzo had a heck of a game. And I think going back to that Texas game, having the bottom of the order with Key and Pham and Spencer in the 6, 7, 8, they really opened things up for us. And again, last night did the same thing. So getting that production throughout the lineup has been really key, I think.
What's key to kind of continuing that against a guy like Freddy Peralta?
It's tough. We've battled him pretty good at times, and there's been times that he's gotten us. Really good pitcher that we've seen, and really unique too because he's got that crossfire. There's some different arm action there, and I think that we've had some good at bats in the past, and just looking forward to continuing with that team approach tonight.
Nick Gonzalez obviously really great at the plate offensively yesterday, but on the bases, I'm just curious. It's not that he did necessarily anything wrong, I'm sure, from your point of view. He just runs hard, he's aggressive, and the Brewers have made great defensive plays against him. But was there any conversations about that, or just maybe how to avoid some of those tags in the future?
Yeah, you know what? He's an aggressive player, and we want them playing that way. When he's running hard out of the box and took a perfect throw from Vrelick there to get him at second, and then the Terang coming in and having the wherewithal to fake it to first, and Nick's running on a 3-2 pitch, going to third, and it took a perfect throw at third too. So, really just want them to be aggressive and take the games, the score, the inning, everything into account when we're running the bases. But in those 2 instances, he's running hard, he's trying to make something happen, and they make good plays.
A guy like Brian Reynolds on the flip side, it was almost like perfect base running from him, especially in that, the first run that he scored. What did you like about his approach, that send by Rabs, that whole transition there?
It was great. Brian always runs the bases well and runs them hard and sets the tone for our team, and how he does that. Whether it's a ground ball that he's running down to first base or scoring from first, he's always playing the game the right way, and it was a good send by Rabs in that instance to score him. And same on the Isaiah ball down the line. Tough. Those can be tough ones. When they're down the line, it's a little bit short of a throw, and really good base running, really good send there by Rabs.
What does Brian Reynolds bring to this team? You kind of forget how long he's actually been around in this organization. What does he bring to this ball club at that point?
Yeah, how long he's been around and how consistent he's been is something that comes to mind for me. Offensively, defensively, base running, just the teammate that he is. And when you see him go out there and play the game the way he does every single day, just sets the tone and the standard for how we're going to approach the game and how we're going to play.
Does that make it easier to trust that he can kind of get out of, slumps or get out of tough times, just knowing that he's been able to have that type of consistency over long stretches during his career?
No doubt. And who he is and the way he works, stands out to me as something that gives you that comfort too, knowing that he's coming in every day to do whatever he can to help the team win and get better himself. And like I said, he sets the tone in a lot of ways for us as a team.
Cam and Reynolds are two guys who've both had some of their greatest success against the Brewers for whatever reason. Is there anything to that with guys, something about the uniform, even with players changing, going from team to team, that you just have a confidence level against a certain team?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say a specific team. Maybe if you go to a ballpark that you feel comfortable in, you see the ball better. Maybe that's PNC, maybe it's here in Milwaukee. I'm not sure. Because there's a lot of times that the pitchers change and different things. So I'm not sure what would play into that. But hopefully that continues tonight with those two guys. That'd be great.